stress comes from. I can choose a new outcome. Drive on.
So I want to welcome you all to the Happiness Highway podcast. This is the first episode, and I'm Dr. Gary Sprouse, the Less Stress Doc. And I'm here doing this podcast because I want to help you have less stress and spend more time in your happy place, which is the place you should be. So during this podcast, we're going to find different ways to look at stress and different ways to handle stress and different tools. And through this journey, we're all going to be on the happiness highway trying to spend more time in our happy place. So let me get started with a story that I have about a patient of mine named Cindy. And she was a middle-aged woman who'd been divorced, and she had 2 children that were adults at this point. But she had spent her life, when I'd met her, she was anxious, she was worried she was going to get fired, she felt guilty about things, she had a lot of regrets, she felt overwhelmed all the time, and her self-esteem had taken a plunge because of all that. And when I sat down with her and we started talking about things, I showed her the book that I had written, and I started talking about the concepts that came from that book. And over the course of a couple weeks, she was able to improve her self-esteem, have less guilt. She was able to realize that she had things that she could control. She found a different way to deal with her problems that she was having on a regular basis. And she felt like a weight had been taken off of her shoulder. And I asked her, I said, would it be okay if I shared your story with other people? And at first she was embarrassed because she said, well, who am I? Why would anybody want to hear my story? And what finally convinced her to say yes was when I told her that she was going to help millions of people. She was going to help other people because they're going to see themselves in her and realize, hey, if she could get better, so can I. And I want to share that with you because I want you to get better. I want you to feel less stress, and I want you to be happier in your life. I want you to find a place to get to your happy place. And one of the things that I realized as I've been doing this work is we were meant to be in our happy place. It's stuff that's keeping us out of our happy place that we have to get rid of. So here's what I want to talk about in terms of here's what I help Cindy with. When I'm a physician, so I'm used to taking care of patients who are having a lot of stressful situations. They're having their health issues. They're having psychological issues. And I was trying to understand where all their stresses are coming from. And, you read books about stresses and just literally thousands of books on how to have less stress. But they all talk about the top 10 stresses that are out there. And they go, losing your spouse, losing your job. These are the worst stresses out there. But what I realized was it didn't really tell you why they were stressful. It just said they were. And so I came up with this concept, and I think it's new, and I think this is where I can help you, is that when I look at stresses, what I see is that we are amazing. Humans have these incredible skills. We can look into the future. We can have choice. We have tools. We have vocabulary. We have these incredible skills. And what I realized, though, is that they also have side effects. And the side effects are where our stresses are coming from. That's the bullet that I want you to keep. I want you to hold on to that. Enjoy the skills that you have, but realize that there are side effects to them. So here's why that's important. So what I want to do then is say, okay, here's the amazing skills that we have. And I want to find a way to keep those skills. But then I want to find a way to get rid of the side effects. So just like a medication, if you have to take medicine for your blood pressure, diabetes, or whatever, every medicine has a benefit. So it makes your diabetes better, makes your blood pressure better, makes your arthritis hurt less. But they all have side effects. And I find these skills are the same way. So you have skills, but then they have side effects. And what I've seen from psychologists in the past or other professionals, what they'll say is, hey, you know what? Just live for today. And you're like, well, okay, first off, that's impossible to do as a human because we're always looking into the future. And second off, why would I want to give up my greatest skill of being able to envision the future just because it has a side effect? How about I just get rid of the side effect and I keep the skill? And that is the point to my podcast, to teach you and help you find a way to have your skill and lose the side effect. Now we've talked about where our stresses are coming from. And what I want to do is say the 3 things that you need to know about this topic. So I want you to enjoy your skills and shed the side effects. And 2, I want you to show you how stress has ingredients. And 3, I want you to find your happy place. And I want you to visualize yourself in a place where you have a lot less stress. So let's go into more detail about the first one, which is how to enjoy your skills and shed the side effects. So let me explain to you what that means. So all humans have, well, I take that back. All humans don't have the skill. So most humans have the skill of being able to envision the future. So we can look into what's going to happen tomorrow or next week or next year or next century. Now, not all humans have that skill. So I have lots of patients that have Alzheimer's and they've lost that skill. Or I got a new grandson and he's too young. He doesn't have that skill. So they can't worry. They don't have the ability to do that because they can't envision the future. So when you can envision the future, here's the side effect. So you're looking into the future and now you have to worry about all the bad things that could happen to you. And the smarter you are, the more things you can worry about. The more awareness you have, the more things you can worry about. So worry is actually a side effect of being able to envision the future. So what we'll talk about as we go along is how do I keep my skill of envisioning the future and worry less? And that's what this podcast is all about. Second thing I want to talk about is that stress actually has ingredients. So I see patients all the time and their spouse died or they lost their job. And some spouses are more stressed than others. And I'm like, well, why is that? They both had the same event occur to them. And what I realize is, again, that stress has different ingredients. So what makes losing your spouse so stressful is that you have to worry, that you have guilt, you have regret. It takes a toll on your self-esteem. You get overwhelmed. So rather than dealing with the event of your spouse dying, I'm going to help you deal with the ingredients that make it stressful. The third thing is your happy place. And it's an interesting thing. So I would talk to patients and I would talk to my friends and family, say, hey, I'm writing this book on how to have less stress. And they would say, I need that book because I'm so stressed out. That would be really helpful. And I asked them this question. I said, well, if you had less stress, where would you be? And they go, I don't know. And I really thought about that. I only envision myself having less stress. So here's what I want. I want you to envision yourself in your happy place. And everybody's happy place is going to be different, right? But it turns out, again, there's ingredients to your happy place. So let me show you. There's 5 things that I put, and we'll talk about this more later on in the videos. But there's 5 pieces to your happy place that I think are important, that everybody shares. So the first one is contentment. The second one is pleasure. The third one is having anticipation of some pleasurable event occurring. The fourth is gratitude. And the fifth is giving to others. So when you do all those things, then you're in your happy place. What a great place to be. And what I find then is when people are in their happy place, they can handle the stresses they have in a more efficient way. So the takeaways that I want you to get from this talk are, 1, that we're supposed to be in our happy place. And it's the stresses and the side effects to our skills that are keeping us from getting there. 2 is that you're freaking amazing. You have these incredible skills that no other organism in the whole universe has that you have. And it's like, so enjoy those skills and let's get rid of the side effects. I want you to help me out. I'm on a mission. I really want to help everyone have less stress. And I want you to help me out, because if you come and listen to what I'm saying and you have less stress, then you'll be somebody who can then turn around and help somebody next to them have less stress. So I want you to come to my website. It's called thelessstressdoc.com and join me on this journey to help everyone have less stress and spend more time in our happy place. So thank you for listening. I really appreciate your attention to this video. And I want to make sure that you subscribe to our show on whatever platform you're listening to. So long for now, and I'll see you later on that Happiness Highway.